Chair recognizes Ms. Holmes Norton.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This question is for Mr. Wilcox. Mr. Wilcox, we're still early in the 118th Congress, and we've already had numerous hearings on public health emergencies, specifically fentanyl. However, it is shocking that the first hearing on firearms held by this Congress does not address the fact that guns are the #1 cause of death for children in the United States. Now, that has been alluded to before in this hearing, but it should be noted that in 2020, for the first time, guns surpassed auto accidents as the leading cause of death in children. 6,000 children were killed or injured by firearms just last year in 2022. Our Republican colleagues don't focus on gun deaths. Instead, they are worried that the ATF is taking steps to better regulate short-barreled rifles, which they have had the authority to do for nearly a century. But let's get back to public health. Mr. Wilcox, how did guns get to be the leading cause of death for children in the United States?
Thank you for the question. I think it's because the other leading causes, automobiles, cancer, well, those are instances where we've innovated for safety. We've innovated for safety with laws, with regulations, with concrete industry action. The way we drive cars today is very different than how we drove it 10, 15, 20, 30 years ago. And we've seen children's death from automobiles decrease dramatically as children's death from firearms continue a slow but steady increase. And so we need that same kind of attention to law, regulatory change, and industry effort if we're going to keep our kids safe.
Thank you, Mr. Wilcox. I do want to note for the record that North Dakota has a higher per capita murder rate than California. And there's a difference with cars because they are registered. I want that noted for the record. Mr. Wilcox, during the pandemic, we saw a surge in gun sales across the country. Mr. Wilcox, what effect did the surge on sales have in gun trafficking?
So the surge in gun sales also came with an exacerbation of existing loopholes and a dramatic spike in the speed of gun trafficking. In 2021, we saw guns move faster from dealer to crime scene than we really have at any time before in recent time. 54% of the crime guns that were recovered in 2021 were likely trafficked because they had been purchased within 3 years. And shockingly, 32% of the crime guns recovered in 2021 were purchased just a year before. So a third of the crime guns were purchased a year before. I think those are very troubling statistics, but they're also opportunities for intervention so that we can stop the flow of the iron pipeline. We can stop illegal gun trafficking.
Recently, the president promulgated an executive order on gun violence. That's been very much noted in the news. And ATF has been taking steps to pursue its mission to stem gun violence. So, Mr. Wilcox, how will these actions help stem the public health risks posed by guns to Americans across the country?
So I think that the president's most recent executive order is a home run for public safety. If I could touch on just one piece, it's to take a part of the Bipartisan Safer Communities Act and direct the Attorney General to issue a clarifying regulation that will get as close to universal background checks as possible. And through that, we'll be able to take a major bite out of the marketplaces that gun traffickers go to acquire guns, the gun show loophole, the online sales loophole. That's what the president's getting at, and that is the potential to have a big win for public safety, to keep our kids safe and keep our communities safe.
Well, thank you very much. I yield back.